What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another video, and we're continuing to talk about Warhammer because ever since Warhammer decided to come out and gaslight the audience, the fans have not been too keen with what's been going on. Remember, this all started because Warhammer decided to do a retcon out of nowhere. They did it very poorly, and then when they were faced with criticism, they started blocking anybody that was actually bringing up justifiable criticism, justifiable questions, and they began gaslighting the audience, saying that you only care about female Adeptus Custodes, when in reality, the criticism has always been how you treated the fan base in this moment. That has always been what the problem has been. Well, I talked about this a little earlier in the week when you had Warhammer fans actually ratioing Games Workshop on one of their actual videos, but apparently it's gotten a little bit worse because I'm going to come over here and show you the actual Warhammer account over on YouTube, and you can just take a look. Ever since about here, these ratios have been horrific. There's only been one that's relatively decent right here at Winged Warriors Descend, which I don't have pull up, but it's sitting at a 40.5%. These aren't good ratios. These are horrific ratios right now. And I already showed you the Adeptus Custodi one. It's getting worse since it first got shown. But here's their latest video from just a day ago, sitting at 1.3 thousand downvotes. And here's a video from the day prior, 760 downvotes to 266 upvotes. These videos are getting destroyed over on the actual Warhammer account. I don't blame people for doing it. I don't blame fans for actually getting annoyed with this. And I don't blame people for pushing back at how Warhammer has been treating them and acting like they know best. Well, apparently they're continuing to double, triple, quadruple down on disrespecting fans in a brand new bid to actually disrespect one of their larger fans, Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, who is a massive Warhammer 40k fan, who is a massive fan of this particular universe. He's bought a lot of Warhammer figures, paints them a lot. I've watched his painting streams. They're relatively fun. He likes his stuff. He knows the lore. He knows the lore really well. And they decided to write him into one of their books and attack the dude. Okay, Games Workshop puts Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, into a Black Library novel. Now, this comes from Chainsword. Just a friendly reminder that Mike Brooks' new novel, Lethal Hesperox, Queen of Knives, will be released later this year. I won't tell you what to do, but I'm not buying it. Mike Brooks is obsessed with gender identity and one of the most woke BL authors. Here are some examples. And from the get-go, I don't understand anything of what this guy is trying to imply, because his first point is honestly idiotic. P.S. Free bootsers support pride, trans rights, and Black Lives Matter. This is an orc. This is an orc that he has different pride symbols painted on it. Yeah, and then, of course, the Black Lives Matter logo from orcs. So, for those of you who aren't aware of orcs, they're not the brightest bulb in the bunch. They're really idiotic. They're kind of stupid, and they only follow the person that is biggest and strongest, because biggest and strongest know best, obviously. That's how they are. So you made your orcs covered in pride flags, trans flags, and waving a Black Lives Matter fist. I don't think that shows what you think it shows, just to be brutally honest there. But it keeps getting better because apparently he's made a bunch of books. A Black Library author who just needs to insert real-life politics and woke agenda into every piece of fiction he makes. Here are some of the finest examples of his novels. Wanted Dead, LGBT character gangers that believe in God Empress instead of Emperor. That's well against the lore. Da Big Daka, transgender Drukari. a little bit more realistic, but again, do you really want transgender Drukhari? Do you really want that to be a thing, to be your representation? Let's be real fair here. Drukhari are bad guys and arguably some of the worst individuals in all of Warhammer 40k lore. So I'm just saying that. Brutal Kunin, non-binary characters, and gender-neutral pronouns. Pronouns in Warhammer? Again, really? Renegades, Horror Master, paraphrasing what Umberto Eco writes in Your Fascism. I mean, kind of fascist. Road to Redemption, writing villain known as Sargon a God, which is obviously a jab at Sargon of Akkad. Carl Benjamin, lots of try-hard allegories of real-life politics. Yeah, there it is. Sargon a God. Sargon of Akkad. You really did not try hard there to make that reference there at all. And when you actually come over to the little bit that he writes, it gets a little, I gotta be real honest here, guys. The dude's insane. Cause you read this, it's literally a scene in which Sargon a God, Sargon, gets brutally murked. In that moment, Alan Clow was quite the most alien and yet most beautiful thing Zek had ever laid eyes on. Sargon a God bellowed with rage, his Voxcaster amplifying it until his war cry was nearly a weapon in its own right, and lumbered into a charge, both chain axes revving up until the whirl of their blades became a banshee scream. Alan Cole raised their silent stub gun and trained it on the behemoth, bearing down on them, an action which looked to Zeke to be the equivalent of menacing some croc with a toothpick. Shadows threw themselves on a god, slowing him, overwhelming him. The slave master lashed out with his chain axes, and one of his valiant, I want to say that's what it is, it's kind of covered up, was thrown clear, nearly bisected, but there were too many for him to fight. His arms were immobilized, and he was borne down to the ground, belling with impotent rage. Then a short, squat shape clambered on top of his back and wrapped a chain, a slave's manacles, around a god's neck and began to pull. A god's breathing, hideously amplified by his Voxcaster, became more and more ragged, more and more desperate. Then, as his executioner gave one final retch of the chains, Sargon a God's death rattle rang out. So you write him in, he's a slave master, and you brutally off him. This is actual Warhammer lore right here. These are actual Warhammer books in which you have Carl Benjamin physically wrote in just to get brutally murdered. Now, I get it, okay? Warhammer, more than likely, everybody's going to get brutally murdered, okay? Everybody's going to die a very brutal death. But you mean to tell me that you wrote him in specifically because you don't like him, obviously. He's a major fan of Warhammer, and you wanted to show your power over him, decide to off him. That's one of the stupidest things ever. And the best part about this is Carl Benjamin's replied, I'm officially canon in the Warhammer universe. Yay, he's actually canon. And he decided to come out here and look up like what he actually, like how his character is designed. Because he says, if anyone can supply a proper description of this character, I'm happy to make him and paint him. And he gets the description, and it's actually kind of badass. I'm not lying, like the character sounds cool, and you did this to try to one-up Sargon of Akkad, you know, try to put him down, but all you did in the end was make a cool-looking character, and a character people actually kind of, you know what, maybe we might do something with, and you're trying to do this as a dunk. But are you shocked from Warhammer right now? Are you shocked from 40k right now? They're just going on this entire path of basically scorched earth. They're attacking fans over and over and over again. They are rejecting anything fans have to say outright. And just because one of the guys disagrees with them on politics, he's gonna write him in there just to murk him. Okay, that's all he's doing. He's writing one of the largest Warhammer fans that I know of in to Warhammer just to get rid of him, just to do some sort of power play over him. That's stupid. Legitimately, that's just stupid. That's childish. And it goes to show you that Warhammer is basically lost at this point. There's nothing fixing this. And on top of that, I mean, if this dude's a Warhammer fan right here and he's doing this to his Warhammer figures, the dude doesn't even know Warhammer to begin with. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all that down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it up, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.